Our YouTube channel BBC World News. In today's video, we will share it with you latest information. Comeback bill to keep US government running fails to pass. A US government's shutdown is fast approaching after the House of Representatives voted against a Donald Trump-backed spending bill. Dozens of Republicans defied the president-elect by joining Democrats to reject a revised funding measure. If no deal is agreed by midnight local time on Friday, some federal services will again shutting down from the early hours. The Republican Party leadership in the House vowed to find a solution to the impasse over government funding ahead of the deadline. Unlike in much of the rest of the world, government shutdown in the US happened relatively often due to a 1980 act which basically ruled that without a budget there can be no spending. This means that if the US Congress, made of the House of Representatives and the Senate, does not approve a budget, there is a money for the federal government, and non-essential services soon began shutting down and many public employees stopped getting paid. Services classed and essential, mostly related to public safety, continue to operate, and those workers are required to show up without pay. That usually include border protection, hospital care, air traffic control, law enforcement, and power grid maintenance. Services deemed to be non-essential, such as the food assistance program, federally funded preschool, the issuing of student loan and food inspections, and the opening of national park will all be hit. The latest spending plan was the second in as many days, which failed to reach the two-thirds majority needed to pass the lower chamber of Congress, with 38 Republicans voting against the bill on Thursday night. This was in defense of Trump, who the day before that thwarted a previous cross-party funding deal that the Republican House leadership had struck with Democrats, and heavy criticism of the measure by tech billionaire Elon Musk, the Tesla founder, who Trump has tasked with identifying spending cuts by co-leading the Department of Government Efficiency, which is not an official government department, lobbied heavily against the existing deal with dozens of posts on X, the social media platform he owns. He called it criminal and often referenced false statements about the bill in his post. Musk wrote on X that any lawmaker who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years. After Musk drummed up opposition for the spending bill, Trump and the incoming Vice President J.D. Vance dealt the final blow to Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson's deal on Wednesday evening. They said in joint statement they wanted streamlined legislation without the Democratic-backed provisions that Johnson had included. They also called for Congress to rise to eliminate the debt ceiling, which determines how much the government can borrow to pay its bill, and limit the funding legislation to temporary spending and disaster relief. They called anything else a betrayal of our country. After the initial bill failed by 174 vote to 275, Johnson said he would come up with another solution before government funding lapses at midnight on Friday. House that voted on this revised edition on Thursday, which included some concession to Trump demands, but Republican rebels objected because they opposed increases in government spending, while Democrats voted against it because they said extra borrowing would be used to give tax cut to the wealthy. The current deadlock can be tracked back to September when another budget deadline loomed. Johnson failed to pass a 6-month funding extension as Democrats voted against because it included measure the SAVE Act to require proof of citizenship for voting. Instead, Congress came to the bipartisan deal for a bare-bones bill that would keep the government funded until the end of the 20 December. It is not clear what will happen next. Lawmakers are expected to return on Friday morning with less than 24 hours on the clock until a looming shutdown, and while the bill will need support from both sides of the chamber to pass, partisan blame game in full swing after the Thursday bill was shot down. Johnson told reporters it was very disappointing that almost every House Democrat had voted against it. But Democrats are unlikely to help Johnson with support for a revamped funding bill, blaming him for breaking their bipartisan agreement, and others seem to taunt Republicans for seeming to take their direction from the unelected Musk. On the House floor on Thursday, Connecticut Representative Rose DeLauro, the top Democratic appropriator in the House, called the billionaire President Musk to laughter from fellow Democrats. This situation also poses a challenge for Johnson, as the House is set to be voted in just 15 days on who will serve as House Speaker for the next Congress. What previously looked like a secure position for Johnson is now seeming less of a sure thing. And it's not only Johnson who is in a tricky situation. This was the first big test of Trump influence over current congressional Republicans, and in the vote on the Thursday, a number of them balked. Last government shutdown ran from 21 December 2018 to 25 January 2019 and was the longest on record. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that it reduced economic output external by about $11 billion, including £3 billion that it never regained. Get your daily close of entertainment. entertainment, subscribe today. New videos every day. Thanks for watching. For more, have a nice time. Goodbye.